Hey everybody, I'm so excited to do this video. Today we're going to tap on anxiety. So in the first video I posted, it was an introduction to tapping. I went through all the different, like kind of the science behind it and the different tapping uh, places, the tapping positions that we use when we tap. So I'm not going to go through all that again now. I'm going to kind of just dive into it, but I just want to share a little story first of when I first learned to tap was in I think it was December of 2017, was when all the Me Too stuff had happened. There was a lot of issues going on for me personally, um, indirectly related to Me Too, some stuff with my meditation community that I've written about in previous blog posts. And I was in a really, really, really bad place. And, watching TV in bed and eating cookies in bed and just feeling like not like myself and feeling horrible despite being a meditation teacher and thinking I had it all figured out by this incredible meditation technique that I still love and practice and teach. And I was afraid to share. I was afraid to tell anyone how I was feeling because I felt like if I am struggling, then that means that somehow I'm an imposter and somehow I don't have the right to feel bad or to be going through a rough patch. So when I did my first tapping session as a client, I felt like myself again for the first time in months. And it was so profound and life-changing that I ended up doing several packages with my tapping coach and ended up becoming a tapping practitioner and now work with clients all the time. And I've just been hearing from so many people how rough things have been. I've been experiencing it myself. My own self-care regimen, I've had to adjust it and amplify it and turn up the volume because it's just not quite getting what I need to get from it. So I wanted to share tapping with you. I've been doing it a lot during COVID. And right at the beginning of COVID, I did daily tapping sessions every day. And I'm also part of the Mindful Healthcare Collective on Facebook. And I do some tapping sessions on that Facebook page as well. So what I'm going to do is over the next few weeks share some videos on some tapping sequences for different emotions. It's not too late to give me suggestions. So if you have topics that you'd like me to cover, please do mention it in the comments or reach out to me privately. You can direct message me. And what I'm going to tap on today is anxiety. Tapping for the purposes of this video, this is going to be more of symptom management rather than like getting at the whole underlying cause of your anxiety. Although this can be quite profound, usually the one-on-one sessions are where we're going to really get at the deeper causes of anxiety. But what I'd like to mention is that this tapping sequence does not substitute for healthcare or mental health care. And if you are feeling really, really severely anxious, depressed, you're having thoughts of hurting yourself, please do reach out to a mental health professional and get help. You are not alone. And this is really an exercise determined to, designed to try to help you feel better, but also is not a substitute for what you may need. Please wash your hands or use sanitizer because we're going to be touching our face. And let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be tapping on anxiety right now. What you will need is a piece of paper and something to write with and an open mind. So I'm going to just lower this down a little bit here so that you can see my chest while I tap, my upper chest, which is one of the tapping spots. And what I want you to do right now is check in with your level of anxiety. Give it a rating from 0 to 10, 10 being the most anxious you've ever been, 0 being I'm not anxious at all. And try to check in with your body if you can. Where do you feel it in your body? Is it a fluttering in your chest or a sinking feeling in your stomach, or maybe it's a tension in your neck? Wherever it is, sometimes I feel my emotions on the outside of my arm, so it doesn't have to be any place that feels like it makes sense. But write that down. And what we're going to do is we're going to tap through a couple sequences and then we'll check in and you'll have a chance to monitor how your tapping is doing. I will do my best to see if any comments come in here, but for the most part, I'm just going to go through the sequence. One thing you're going to notice is we're going to go through, we're going to say negative things out loud, how anxious we are, where we're feeling it, all the things we're anxious about. This seems very weird in self-care, like we're supposed to focus on the positive only, but actually This tapping allows our brain to, in the setting of experiencing these negative emotions and really kind of like swimming around in them, it allows our brain to reset the way it reacts to its response to stressful stimuli, such as feeling anxious. So this will not work if we put in platitudes at the beginning. At the end, we can tap in some positivity, but for right now, we're going to be repeating things out loud that are negative. It is important, if you want this to work, that you tap with me and you also say it out loud. You can watch this anytime when you have some privacy. It will not work if you just watch. If you're curious and just want to see what it's all about, cool, but it will only work if you actually do the video. All right, so we're going to start here with the karate chop point. And this is going to be call and response. So if I say something, I'm obviously not with you right now. If I say something that does not resonate, do not repeat it. Fill in the blank with something that does. If you're not feeling anxious right now, but instead you're feeling sad or angry, fill in the blanks with that. Or just keep that anger and or sadness in the front of mind and tap through exactly what I'm saying now, and you'll still notice that you may still feel an improvement in your symptoms. All right, so we'll start here. And every time I speak, I'm going to pause and keep tapping and allow you to repeat. Even though, and I'm going to just say that there's a 7 out of 10 anxiety in my chest. Even though I have this 7 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest, and I'm going to say I am anxious about whether or not the vaccine will work against the variant, but you can fill in anything you want with anxiety. Okay, so I'll start again. Even though I have this 7 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest about whether or not the vaccine will work on the new variants of COVID, I love and accept myself. Even though I have this 7 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest about whether or not the vaccine will work with these new variants, I accept and forgive myself exactly as I am in this moment. Even though I have the 7 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest about whether or not the vaccine will cover the new variants, I love and accept myself completely. And remember, fill in whatever I'm saying. If it doesn't resonate, you're anxious about something else, just say something different. This anxiety. All this anxiety. This 7 out of 10 anxiety. This anxiety in the middle of my chest. I want to get the vaccine, but I don't even know if it's going to work against the variants. All this anxiety about the vaccine. What's coming up? What's coming down the line with these variants? The 7 out of 10 anxiety in my chest. What if life doesn't start to go back to normal? What if we're going to be on lockdown for the rest of our lives? What if there's no end to this pandemic? I'm anxious about the vaccine. This 7 out of 10 anxiety about whether the vaccine will cover the new variant. I'm worried my healthcare worker friends and colleagues won't be protected. I'm worried my family won't be protected. And for anyone who can't see, I'm tapping kind of right where the bra line would be here. All right, so let's pause. Deep breath in and out. Now's a really good time to check in. How strong is that anxiety now? Has it gone down? Has it gone up? Has it stayed the same? Did any other emotions come up? Maybe sadness or anger, frustration, something like that. If those have come up and they're much, much stronger than the anxiety, it's a good idea to actually tap on that instead. For the sake of this, I'm going to continue on with anxiety, but just make a note that these new emotions are coming up and you can tap on those separately. Perhaps you can even message me and tell me what they are so that I can tap on them in a different sequence in a later video. So check in on the intensity of it. Do you still feel it in that same place in your body? Has it moved anywhere? Are you anxious about something else? Is there another thing, another nuance of anxiety that's come up for you? Maybe a personal fear of getting the virus, or about your kids, whether or not they're going to go back to school. And also, have any memories or images or aha moments or insights come up for you? Maybe some like, some positivity is coming up. Maybe, oh, I'm feeling calmer, or there's nothing I can do about it. Maybe there's something else that's coming up for you right now. Write that down as well. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to keep going through. Let's just say that the anxiety has gone down to a 4 and it's still in the middle of my chest. So I'm going to keep tapping on it based on that. And you can adjust as is, depending on what you're feeling right now. I have this remaining 4 out of 10 anxiety in my chest. This 4 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest. I'm anxious about the vaccine. I'm anxious it's not going to be as effective as I thought it might be against the variants. I'm also anxious that it may cause long-term side effects. Now, I'm not saying that it will do that. I'm just saying something you might be anxious about. This anxiety about the vaccine. I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to get the vaccine and when that will be. I'm anxious about my family who's waiting to get vaccinated. All this anxiety. This remaining 4 out of 10 anxiety about the vaccine. Whether or not it'll work on the new variants. How much it will really protect me. Whether or not I'll really be able to go back to regular life. This anxiety in my chest. All this anxiety in my chest. This anxiety about whether or not the vaccine will be as effective as we all hope, or whether it might cause harm. Okay, pause, take a deep breath. All right, so now's another time to check in. How strong is your anxiety on a scale from 0 to 10? Has it gone up, gone down, stayed the same? If it's not going down at all, ask yourself why. What's keeping it up? What's holding it up? Maybe there's a different emotion. Maybe you're anxious about something else that you're not getting to. And also ask yourself again, have any other emotions come up? If so, write them down and communicate them with me, or you can do this tapping sequence again from the beginning on a different emotion. And check in with your body. See if your body is feeling that anxiety in any different places, if you're still feeling that anxiety at all. And have any other aha moments come to you? Any other insights or calming, self-reassuring statements? I'm going to say now that it's gone down to a 1 out of 10. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to now go through and add in a little bit of positivity. Once you get down to like a 2 or 3 or below, it's okay to sprinkle in a little positivity. So the nervous system won't reject that. So gone from a 7 to a 4 and now down to a 1. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm going to start over here with this, with the karate chop point. Even though I have this remaining 1 out of 10 anxiety about the COVID vaccine in the middle of my chest, I love and accept myself. Even though I have this remaining 1 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest about whether or not the COVID vaccine will work on the new variants, I love and accept myself completely. This remaining 1 out of 10 anxiety in the middle of my chest about the COVID vaccine. I'm worried it's going to stop working once there's mutations to the virus. I'm worried I won't get it in time. I'm worried that it won't protect my family members. I'm worried it won't protect my healthcare professional friends and colleagues who have been working so hard. I'm worried life is never going to get back to normal. But I'm also feeling calmer. I'm feeling some of this anxiety leaving my body. It started as a 7 and now it's down to a 1. This sense that I know I can't control the outcome. And that spending my energy worrying about it may not be helpful for me. I'm open to the notion that I can't control the future. And I'm going to keep doing what I can to keep myself and my family and loved ones safe. I have this remaining 1 out of 10 anxiety. But I also know that what will unfold will unfold. And there are scientists working very hard to stay on top of the mutations. And that this anxiety is not permanent. This anxiety is a reaction to a very difficult, prolonged situation. And it's okay for me to feel my negative emotions. And it's also okay for me to process them in a healthy way and not get hung up on feeling them all the time. It's okay to feel some relief from this anxiety. All this anxiety leaving my body. Okay, let's pause. Take a deep breath in and out. Now take a moment to write down, to just check in with yourself. How strong is your anxiety? Have any other emotions come up? Any sense of relief, any aha moments, any new emotions? And just how are you feeling in general? So that concludes it for today. If you're still feeling pretty rough, go back to the beginning of this video and go through the first 2 sequences, the first 2 parts where we're just tapping on the anxiety. You may not be ready for the positivity yet. And once you're down to like a 2 or 1 or below, then it's okay to do the positivity. But you can do this as many times as you need to help that anxiety feel better. Know that you are not alone. And this is a hard time for everybody. Hopefully this has been a helpful exercise for you. I'd love to hear from you how it was for you. If you have recommendations for other topics I can do for these videos in the future. If you have more questions about tapping, you can check out my website, www.jillwener.com/tapping. I have online courses as well as do one-on-one tapping. And I'll be back in a couple days to do another video. All right, everybody, take care of yourselves. Go wash your hands.